It was the kind of cold that seeped into your bones, a frozen expanse stretching endlessly before me. I had come here for solitude, to escape the chaos of civilization, but as I trudged through the snow, I began to realize this tundra was anything but empty. The only company I had were the tracks laid out before me, stark against the white. They were deep, wide, suggesting something heavy had passed through, something alive. And then I noticed something unsettling. They seemed to be leading deeper into the wilderness. I followed them, my breath visible in the frigid air, each exhale a reminder of my own mortality. The silence was deafening. The occasional gust of wind was the only sound, a haunting whisper that seemed to call my name. As I moved further, I felt a prickle at the back of my neck, like eyes were watching me. I turned, but nothing. Just the endless white stretching out to meet the horizon. Yet the feeling persisted, a knife edge of dread. Hours passed, or was it days? Time lost its meaning in the frozen wasteland. I began to contemplate the nature of isolation. Was I truly alone, or had the tundra birthed something sinister, something that wore my face? The tracks continued, twisting and turning, and I felt compelled to follow. But then I stumbled upon something horrifying. A fresh set of footprints, identical to my own, leading back towards me. Panic surged through me like a shockwave. I whipped around, heart racing, convinced I would see another version of myself, a twisted reflection. But all I found was the relentless wind and the ominous silence. I recorded my thoughts on the voice recorder. "If you find this, I want you to know," my voice trembled, echoing back to me, a ghost of my own sanity. "Something is out here, and it looks like me." The realization hit me. I was being hunted by a creature that could mimic my every move. I could feel it closing in, its breath on my neck, its presence an echo of my own. I was not just lost in the tundra. I was losing myself. I ran. I had to escape. The tracks blurred into a maddening confusion as I sprinted, heart pounding like a war drum. I could hear it behind me, a strange rhythm that mirrored my own. I stumbled upon a clearing, the light dimming in the thickening clouds overhead. I stopped, breathless, scanning the perimeter. There, at the edge of the trees, I saw it, my reflection, standing still, watching. It wore my face, but its eyes were hollow, devoid of the warmth that defined me. I felt a shiver crawl down my spine, the realization that this was no mere mirage. This was the end of my sanity. I backed away, but it mirrored me, step for step. I raised my hands, and it raised its, a twisted dance of confusion and fear. I was no longer sure where I ended, and it began. Desperation clawed at my throat. I turned to run again, but the footprints in the snow had changed. They now encircled me, trapping me in a spiraling dance of madness. Then I heard it, a voice that was mine, yet twisted. "You can't escape me. I am you." The cold seeped deeper, and I realized I was not just battling a creature. I was battling myself. The world around me began to blur, the lines of reality thinning like the ice beneath my feet. Each breath became a struggle as I faced the truth. I was becoming the very thing I feared. As I collapsed into the snow, the creature approached. I could feel its breath against my neck, cold and lifeless. In that moment, I understood. It was not hunting me. It was here to claim what I had lost. I pressed the recorder to my chest, my last act of defiance. "If you find this, know that madness wears many faces. Sometimes it wears your own." My voice faltered, fading into the chilling wind. As the darkness enveloped me, I realized the tundra had claimed another. I was no longer the hunter or the hunted. I was simply a whisper in the cold, lost to the void. The last thing I saw was my reflection, smiling in the distance, as the snow began to cover my tracks. It was over. And yet, somewhere in the silence, I could still hear my own voice, echoing back. And so, dear listener, remember, sometimes the greatest monster lies within, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Beware the silence of the tundra. It might just be the sound of your own footsteps following you home.